Hi, my name is Tina Paniqui and welcome to another session of Doorways. And the topic I want to discuss today is why putting your children first doesn't actually serve them. And I'm not saying that because this isn't about judgment or blame or anything, it's just purely about honesty. So we're taught very early on that good parents put their children first. Always, at all costs, and for a long time I believe that too. But over time, through my own experiences and through watching families, workplaces and relationships in truth, I've come to see something very different. And it took me a while to admit it, I'm not going to lie. And I did, I'm laughing, but that's probably a bit of a cover-up really, but I didn't do this myself. I didn't, but I choose to do it now with my grandchildren. And that I don't believe now that raising yourself for your children actually serves them. And that's from somebody who did do that. So there's no judgment here. I worked harder, I worked longer, I wanted to provide for my children. I wanted to give them everything that I hadn't had as a child. But what happened was, by doing it, I lost myself, and as a result, they never got the best version of me, I don't believe. So this is not, let me be really clear, this is not about neglect, it's not about putting your children last, it's not about prioritising your children self over your children. It's certainly not about love being conditional, it's about modelling, because children don't learn what we say, they learn how we live. And when we constantly put ourselves last, something happens quietly. We get tired, we get irritable, we lose joy, we lose energy, we lose ourselves. And then that becomes an emotional environment that our children grow up in, and they absorb it. Not consciously, but energetically they do. They feel the tension, they feel the exhaustion, they feel when life becomes heavy, and that just doesn't just apply to families, that shows up in workplaces too. So I'm a firm believer, and I've done a podcast on this, that people don't thrive under exhausted leaders, and I have been that exhausted leader. So again, no judgment from me. People cope. Teams absorb the stress like our children do, and so do partners, and so do relationships. And when the person at the centre of that disappears, or they've lost themselves, everything around them thins out. And what I've learned through all this is that when you come back to yourself, when you allow yourself to experience joy, being alive, being honest with yourself, that's when we create safety. Not perfection, not sacrifice, just presence. Children feel safest around adults who are alive in themselves, who aren't constantly busy, who aren't constantly depleted, but they're alive, they're present. And that doesn't mean that life might be easy. It doesn't mean that there aren't still difficult conversations or hard moments. It just means that you're not abandoning yourself in order to do the right thing. And I've had to look at that honestly in my own life, and I don't share it because I figured it all out. I genuinely haven't. I share it because I've seen that what happens when people come back to themselves, there's more laughter, there's more joy, there's more warmth, more honesty, more listening. Key factor, listen. Lots of people talk and not very, very, very few people listen. And whether that's listening to the person that they're opposite, or whether it's listening to themselves. And it all has a ripple effect. I'm currently working as a fractional MD for an accountant, and in order for them to thrive, I provide an environment for them to be the best version of themselves, because I truly believe that if you can provide that environment where you're not trying to shove round pegs into round holes, that people will come alive and they'll thrive. And when they thrive, businesses thrive. And it's the same with our children, that when we thrive, our children thrive. And that doesn't have to be all the fanciness of everything, although, you know, that's equally not saying you shouldn't have that. And again, no judgment for me on that. I believe that we can have it all, that we can have joy, happiness, nice things, nice homes, nice jobs, nice holidays, you know, all those things that we crave. The difference is I've sort of switched my lens, that I thought you had that to start off with, and then you ended up with the happiness and the joy. And now what I truly, deeply believe is that it starts with you. It starts with you listening to yourself, to your body, to your feelings, and really hear them. Really, really hear what's going on, and don't think of it as background noise. And I've learned the hard way through many, many, many years of doing it all the way I've just described it to you. I've learned to follow joy, and when I follow joy, everything else happens naturally. It just flows. It's not hard. I follow joy at work. Work flows easily. I follow joy in my personal life. What brings me joy, I follow it. And it's my compass now. And by simply asking yourself by simply asking yourself a question, which in itself is a doorway, who might benefit if I stopped disappearing? Just a little bit, and I came back to myself. And often the answer isn't what you expect. So I invite you to ask that question.